Today on the Sabers Food, we'll be making meat kebabs in tangy tomato sauce. This recipe is easy to make, it will serve around 5 people and will take you 5 minutes to prepare and 30 to 40 minutes to cook. So we'll begin by making our meat kebabs, and anything you want to add to your meat kebabs, you need to make sure it's finely chopped because you don't want your meat kebab to fall apart when you cook it. So finely chop your onion, as well as some garlic, and parsley. So once your ingredients are finely chopped, you can then add them to a bowl with your minced meat. Now to flavour your meat kebabs, you can obviously add more flavour or more spices, but I'm going to go for some simple Lebanese flavours, which is salt, black pepper and cinnamon. Simple spices, yet absolutely perfect in flavour. So go ahead and mix it all up. Just go in there and punch the daylights out of it, get all your stress out, give it a good old mix, and once it's well incorporated, you'll be ready to make your meat kebabs. In a pot, heat some olive oil and leave it over medium-high heat until it becomes nice and hot, and then meanwhile you can be making your meat kebabs. Now you might want to make them into round ball shapes or a bit longitudinal, it doesn't really matter. Whatever shape you choose is absolutely fine. So once you made your around golf shape or golf sized meatballs, you can then put them into your hot oil, and you're going to leave them to brown on each side. Now you don't want the heat to be too high that it burns, so keep an eye on it, and once it's browned on one side you can then turn them over and brown them on the other side. Now, it shouldn't take that long and you don't need to worry about cooking it all the way through, so once it's cooked on both sides you can just remove them, and the oil that remains is the most delicious oil that you need to flavour your tomato sauce. So in goes some onions and garlic and give it a good old mix, and if you have some cherry tomatoes on the vine then add them in there as well. It's not necessary, but I just wanted to give that extra dimension and I had them. So give them a good old mix, let them cook for a little bit longer, and once they've started to cook through, then you can add some can of chopped tomatoes or passata, or you can freshly crush some tomatoes, and then add in some chicken stock cube for extra flavouring and tomato puree. Now obviously this is adjustable to how you like the taste, so I wanted it more intense in tomato flavour, but I also wanted it a bit more in runny in consistency, so add some hot water, some more tomato puree, and just adjust it and taste it as you go along. So to give the tangy flavour, I use some pomegranate molasses. If you don't have that or can't get hold of it, then use some balsamic vinegar, anything that will give you that tangy kick to your tomato sauce. And to balance that tanginess, you can then add some brown sugar, and that balance between the brown sugar and the pomegranate molasses is literally a perfect combination, especially when you taste it and get them perfectly balanced. So keep tasting it and adjust it as necessary. Put your meat kebabs back in and cover the sauce and let it simmer for at least 10-15 minutes. Check up on it, taste it, adjust it. You might want to add more salt, you might want to add more pomegranate or more sugar, it depends. Once you get that consistency and taste perfect and your meat kebabs have cooked through, you literally might want to cover it and leave it for a little bit longer. Once you're happy with it, that is it. It's that simple. You can serve it with some basmati rice, you might want to serve it with spaghetti, you might want to eat it with bread. It's up to you. It's that easy, and it's really a good old flavour for some meat kebabs in your tangy tomato sauce. Go ahead and check out the full recipe on thesabersfood.com, and I hope you try it out and enjoy.